welcome back to the Free Speed Podcast, your go-to podcast for navigating fitness and life with purpose. I'm your host, Tash.
And I'm Cal. And today's episode, we have a special guest, Ollie Moore, founder of MOOREFIT, Hyrox athlete, from part-time creator to full-time founder of MOOREFIT, with almost 60,000 followers on Instagram now, and a coaching platform that's taken the hybrid space, but it hasn't always been this way. And the reason we wanted to bring Ollie on was because he's got a very unique and special journey from growing up playing rugby since 4 years old, all the way to making airplane parts and working in aviation for a number of years before in 2021, he decided he wanted to make a change and go all in with his business MOOREFIT. And one of the things that I think was the most amazing thing, just scrolling through your page and seeing how consistent you've been the last 4 years, you've made 1,122 posts, which is insane. And over the last 4.5 years, that's an average of 250 posts a year. And I think when people see like people who are trying to make something in the fitness space or become a creator or just kind of build a brand for that, they don't realize how much time and effort and consistency it puts in. I think you're the best representation of consistency. And so really, I just want to ask you, like, what has inspired you to do that and to start from nothing, where in 2021 you picked up your phone and you were like, this is what I want to do for the foreseeable.
I always knew that there was, like, I wanted more out of life. And growing up playing rugby, being in sport, I knew that fitness was that avenue to be more. And like when I was in the UK, obviously it was lockdown at the time in 2021, and all I had was my phone, a garage to train out of, and every day I was driving to work to build aeroplanes, and that just didn't satisfy me. I wasn't happy living that life. So I knew there was something more, and I knew that I was capable of more, and that's where I started posting on social media, and that's led me to where I am today. But it just comes down to that I just believe from day one. Belief comes and goes, but I knew from day one that if I keep going at this, something will come of it. And I just always had that like belief deep down. Like I said, it comes and goes. I've not always believed in myself, and I said this on my previous podcast. I really believe in myself now, but back then, I just knew there could potentially be an opportunity here to build something really great. And in the back of my head back then, I was like, oh, imagine starting a YouTube. Imagine like living this dream life that you want. I had all these thoughts, but I didn't really think it was a reality. And it's just a small step at the time, you know, like you post, you get nothing, you get a little win. You're like, okay, I'll keep going again, go again. And it just comes down, like you said, to consistency and knowing that it will work out, and just not doubting yourself, just believing that it will plan out. And obviously it's led me to where I am today, but it's crazy to think that all those like 1,400 or like 1,200 posts has led to this.
Yeah.
But it's been a journey. It's been a crazy journey. As you look through my Insta, everything's been like, there's different phases of life, and each bit of life is like, it's like a story, right? It's a different chapter. You turn it over, you start again. You turn it over, you start again. And even coming back from like my competitions now, I'm just in a new phase again. And that's all life is. It's just phases, and you just got to make the most of each one.
Yeah. That's awesome. So we first met Ollie when we first moved to Australia in the Gold Coast, at Atora.
Yeah.
And we were just kind of curious for the listeners, like, kind of explain how you decided to make the move down to Australia and how you created this MOOREFIT community at Atora, and like whether you think that was like the best decision ever, and like, just talk us through it.
So it was never meant to happen. Mm-hmm. Like this, my life here was like, I didn't even comprehend, like I didn't even think it was a reality in my eyes. I just was fed up on my life back home, was posting on social media, and then I just didn't enjoy what I had. Loved my family and friends, but I just knew there was something more on the other side. So I was like, right, called my friend, and I was Ryan, who I ended up traveling with. I was like, "Do you want to book a one-way ticket to Thailand?" And he was like, "Yeah, why not?" This was like October 22, and then we left in April 23. And all I had booked was, I knew I was quitting my job, my house fell through, and I just booked a one-way ticket to Thailand. So to get to Australia, like, it was never really part of my journey.
Cool.
It just happened. As I was traveling, I met someone on social media reached out and was like, I can see you're traveling. Do you want to come to the Gold Coast to compete in turf games, which is in September? It was the 24th of September, 23. And obviously I was still training then, doing a bit of CrossFit. So like that fired me up. Like, I loved turf games back in the UK. So I was like, imagine doing turf games in Australia. And I didn't even know what the Gold Coast was, to be honest. I just knew it was like a cool place to go. So obviously I had my one-way ticket booked, traveled all around Asia, got that out of my system. Calvin's seen some of the posts, obviously partied a lot, posted a bit of...
But it wasn't just that. So I was going through his Instagram, and you did a 55-kilometer ultra marathon.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like
So you used to run,
Yeah.
like, even back
Yeah,
then.
I've been running for like 4 years.
Oh,
I done my
got
first
it.
marathon at 18.
Okay.
So I've
you've
always
had experience.
ran. Yeah. Just not taking it as seriously.
Got it.
So yeah, that'd
what's
be
the
a hot...
story? What's the story behind that?
Oh my God. I was in Koh Sok National Park in Thailand, which is like in the center of Thailand. It's just part of our travels we had planned, and we was there exploring. It was beautiful there. And on the last day, we was heading over to Koh Samui, which is an island, and we was having pizza. And I've always liked doing hard things and just waking up and doing like cool stuff, and people be like, "Oh, how the fuck do you do that?" It's just cool. And then yeah, I looked to see the circumference of this island while we was having pizza, and it said 55K. And I was like, bro, I'm gonna run around the island tomorrow. So that day, we got obviously landed on the island. It was obviously, we had like a 4-hour taxi and then a ferry over to the island. That evening, made sure I got all my snacks and everything together. He rented a moped. I was like, bro, just fuel me up for this run, and I just ran around the island. Had no
And
expectation.
this guy was following you around.
Yeah, Ryan, the guy that I traveled
on his
with for
little
7
moped.
hours. Yeah, so
That's awesome.
he was riding around on the moped. Obviously, you can't just run for 7 hours in 35, 40 degree heat and not have water and fuel. Like, you're just
Yeah.
gonna crash.
What was your feel like?
It was just like bagels, jam, bread, Gatorade.
Carbs.
Just
The Gloucester special.
just just anything I could get my hands on. So we set off at 4 a.m. and I was like, I just run around the island, see how long it takes me. But it was way harder than I thought. Probably the hardest thing I've ever done, just because I wasn't prepared. Like, my body wasn't really ready to run 55K when for the past 3.5 months I was drinking every day and partying and causing havoc and doing things that don't align with my life, but at the time I thought it was great. So that 55K was it was probably one of the highlights of my travel, and made some cool memories doing it. But yeah, it was hard. And I remember one part of the run, I was like, bro, we've got 10K here, you go ahead, I'll meet you at this destination. I was like, I'm gonna be fine. My phone was in his bag, and I hit, like, it was 2K into this one part of the run, and I had 8K left to go, and I just like hit a wall. I had like nothing left. The only thing I could see was a 7-Eleven, but I had no phone, no money. So I went into 7-Eleven. It's probably the first time I've ever stole or done anything bad in my life. I went in there, was like crouched down in the corner, like neck this Gatorade, pull it back in the fridge, like had some carbs, and then walked out like nothing happened. And then for the past 8K, it was probably like 4-minute Ks. So I thought the cops were gonna get me.
That
So,
would
yeah.
have been an even crazier story.
Yeah, but that run was insane. But it was just part of this. It just added more story to the story that I want to tell.
I think what's so cool about that is on that caption you said like it was like a pregame to the full moon party.
Oh yeah.
And I think that chapter like highlights how much you were like that work hard, play hard kind of mentality. Like,
Yeah.
you were trying to explore and do so much.
Yeah.
But you still had that chapter. There was this play that it was important.
That was a huge part. And when I was in, like, everything always changes. You're never gonna really know what's going on. When I left aviation at the time, I was like, oh, this is gonna blow up. I'm gonna do train and travel. So I was going to train and travel like a backpacker and just drink and train all the time, which I'd done. But it's actually quite interesting. I thought it'd look cool because I'm training all the time, I'm in shape and I'm drinking and stuff. But in reality, the people who followed me for my training, not because I drank, even though it's a good balance. And it actually flopped in all my engagement and everything went down. So that's like a learning curve, like stick to what people follow you for and just go all in on that. So yeah, I was drinking all the time, but I still trained most days. I ran most days. Everywhere I went, I'd always go on like a big run round just to find out what's going on in the area.
Wait, how did you see that your engagement was going down?
Just like views and everything.
When
like
you would post the
I actually
drinking
lost
stuff.
2,000 followers traveling.
Really?
Yeah, I was only on, what was it, like 8K or something,
Yeah.
10K. But yeah, I lost 2,000 followers traveling.
Interesting.
Just because I wasn't posting for what people followed me for.
And for those of you who haven't seen Ollie's full 1,100 posts on Instagram, he went through a period where he posted every single day gym content in his, where was that?
That was my rugby club loft.
Yeah, so he was in the rugby club loft posting his workouts every single day for 365 days leading up to this whole.
And bear in mind, like I posted every day for it was long. It's probably even longer than that. Posted every single day. I remember at GE Aviation, I was like on my phone editing a video while trying to like scan to make sure that this PCB board is like can go on airplanes, and I'm there like editing this video.
So that's why the Boeing planes have been falling out of the sky.
Never go on it. Yeah, it's never go on a plane that I touched. I probably passed it without actually meaning to. But yeah, that was just part of it. And I'd like go to the cubicles in the bathroom and like go there to edit content to post it out. And like there wasn't much progress made there for like a whole year. Probably gained like 1,000 followers. No real direction. Didn't really know what I was getting from it. It wasn't working with any brands. It was just posting probably for likes and to get like a kickback from it. And it's not until probably the last 6 months, a year that like now it's a business. So it's taken me 4 years to figure out business and why I post and building like the brand it is now. But yeah, going back to those days is wild.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like in terms of just looking at your brand is you've gone from like this one version where you learn to develop these habits.
Yeah.
And then you went on this trip that opened your eyes to like everything in the world that was going to get you to that next step.
Yeah.
And then this last, I want to say 8-9 months since I moved here.
Yeah.
You've been so much more focused and dialed in.
Yeah.
And you think there was this period of clarity, I guess, in the last year that you've seen that's changed? I know you talked about it in your last episode about how you've grown so much from that first episode that you did with Chris to the second. And so what exactly has like flipped for you in terms of like clarity and direction? And
I think it just comes down to, instead of working on loads of things at once, just having a way more direction. And when you got direction, you can head towards it a lot quicker. If you're trying to go somewhere you don't know where you're going, it's going to take ages. Like at the start of the year, I wanted to become the best athlete I could possibly be, and I wanted to build the biggest Hyrox brand in the world. And to do that, it's a hard task. But when you're so clear on what you need to do and you're so passionate about it, it's just easy. And with that, just creates clarity in my mind and just focus. Like this weekend, I'm meant to be going on like a bucks or a stag do, but obviously I'm not going to drink because I'm just going to waste a whole day on Sunday. My productivity on Monday is going to go out the window. My training for Sydney Marathon is just going to be down. And it's like, why would I do that? For me, every day matters right now, and I want to optimize every day I've got. And to do that, you need to be like locked in. You need to know what you're doing, and you need to be passionate. And like I've got all those three at the minute. So anything that comes into my life that's going to hinder that, whether it's drink, whether it's people that I don't need to be in my life or things, and that can, like, you're gone. I've got direction, and I know what I need to do to get there. So yeah, it just comes down to clarity, I think.
And how do you find balancing like drinking, and obviously you surround yourself with some people who do sometimes drink, and obviously you don't right now. Yeah. And Calvin and I also are in the same position. Like when we're back home, sometimes we drink here and there, but for the most part we don't drink. Yeah. And it was really hard even for us to just kind of like have people understand why we don't do it, because people like back home, they don't get it. No. They don't get it. So here, when you moved here, Was
Yeah.
there like a moment where you decided like you need to separate yourself from some people, or do you find that people like understand why you decide not to drink?
Yeah, I don't separate myself from anyone. I'm just every day. I'm just what you see is what you get. I'm myself. I'm just a nice guy, always happy, always positive, and just trying to do good in the world. And you'll attract the right people. Like all my boys who I'm going out with on Saturday, they don't know this yet. I'm giving it the big talk at the minute, but I'm not drinking. They know that I've got big things I want to achieve, and drinking just stops that. So if they're gonna judge me, one, I don't care if they judge me because I know who I am. I know what's right for me. And so if they're judging me, they can waste their energy on that. I'm fine with not drinking and having a Coke. I'll still have a good time. So it's just finding your people. And if you think you've got your people and they're judging you, they're probably not your people.
Yeah.
Like back home, same as you guys, everyone drinks. Everyone goes out on a Friday, Saturday. They recover on a Sunday. They do it all again. They're depressed. Not everyone, but a lot of people. And I just don't need that in my life. And to achieve things that you really want to achieve, like you guys' podcast is awesome. You're going to do great things and you're dedicated to it. It's just that comes with sacrifice. And just for some people, not drinking is a sacrifice. For me, it's far from that. It just makes me like, it's not even in my head at all. Like when we was in New York and I was with the girls, like they had a few drinks and it would have been absolutely fine for me to have a drink. It wouldn't have affected anything. But for me, it's just, if I say I'm going to do something, I would do it. And I want to go the whole year not drinking. And for me, I'm all in on whatever I do. If I slip up a little bit, everything just goes downhill then. For me, like one drink is just a mindset shift. If I have one drink, I'm like, why can't I have 10? So if I just don't do it at all, then I'm not going to miss out.
Right.
So,
Man, I think like the promises you make to yourself are the
Yeah.
most important things. And
for sure.
just connecting back to like why you started MOOREFIT and why we started the free speed is
Yeah.
trying to bring those people that maybe have an inkling to want to become more serious on their goals or become more connected to people who share the same things.
Yeah.
Instead of just sharing like a beer and sharing a drink and having that's in common. It's like maybe there's more purpose, more intention. And that's kind of why I think what you've developed and the community that MOOREFIT is so important, is kind of bringing that.
It's way more fulfilling. Like a community, what we're all trying to build is, it's just way more fulfilling and rewarding than going to the pub on a Friday with your mates. It's, yeah, you have a great time for 8 hours or 6 hours, but then after that, it's like, everything's like, what's next? And you're constantly looking for that next thing. Whereas with community and like having the drive that we've got and with things we want to create, it makes you way more, what's the word I'm looking for? Way more excited to like live your life. But yeah, drinking days are way over.
Yeah.
I guess from where you were, like when you first started in the UK,
Yeah.
and what was your original goal when you first started? Was to be like to find an adventure, to have change?
It's a great question. I think my first goal was just like, I just wanted to make it, and I knew that I would always be successful. I just didn't really know what in. And my first goal, obviously setting up social media, I just wanted to be kind of like an influencer, and like work with brands, make content and get paid for it. And now I'm doing that and it's great, but there's not as much fulfillment in it as for me now. I want to just build an awesome community. And with community, it's just a lot. There's a lot more in it, building the community, than like posting for a brand, say. So at the start, I suppose more I wanted like fame and people to follow me and see me. Now I just want to do good and be known for all the right reasons and kind of lead by example, and people will look up to me. But like, I'm not too far out of reach where people can't relate to me. I always want to try and be relatable and just be a normal dude. Like even on the weekend at Hyrox, I had so many people come up to me and just say how inspired they are by my journey and stuff. And that means so much more than running a sub 60. So now, obviously, we spoke about it the other day, like what means more to me now, like a time or the impact you have. And the impact is going to leave a legacy, whereas a time's not really going to leave a legacy. So I feel like for me, the more people I can reach, the more people I can help on the journey, the more rewarding it is for me. So I think like fame and being known was probably the first why I started in 2021. And now in 2025, now as I've grown up and matured, there's a lot more fulfillment in obviously giving back to people and having a lot more substance in it. Like an Instagram post, and some things are just very, they're not that deep, and I want to bring something different to obviously the audience and stuff.
I think one of the things that is really great that you brought up is just having the bravery to be open with your goals.
Yeah.
And like the last year, you've been very, very vocal about like really wanting to work towards that sub 60.
Yeah.
And I think it's easy for people to, from the outside, look at like, oh, like he hasn't gotten there.
Yeah.
But I think the key is like yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and because you understand it takes time and it's patience, and it's from your whole story from starting back in 2021.
Yeah.
I don't think you've ever felt like you're the person that like got anything easy or it happened instantly.
No.
And I think that's so amazing about your story is it wasn't luck. It was consistent time after time.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't realize like the bravery of being open and honest with your goals is actually more valuable, because you can fail and then you can also show what you're willing to do about despite those failures.
Yeah.
And do you think that's like in terms of how you project your goals online, that it definitely increases the pressure, but how do you feel like will you continue to do that? Because it's
for sure. I'll always back myself. Like when I say a time, I don't just say it for fame. I say it for like conviction that I will do that. And I never put like a time limit on it. I'm never like, obviously I've said I want to get this time at Worlds, but Worlds next year. Like it's gonna happen. I'm gonna build the biggest brand in the world. I'm gonna get my sub 60. Things don't happen overnight, and when you don't get something, it makes the reward way more rewarding. Like if I got that sub 60, I'll be like, oh, I'd still be going, oh, what's next? What's next? Just enjoy the journey. I didn't get it. I learned the most lessons ever from a race that I could learn. Now I can help clients out and make sure they don't make the same mistakes that I've done. So even though I wanted it to be at Worlds at sub 60 and create that awesome story, it didn't happen. So now that's like, I'll just put it down the line and try and get that time later on. But yeah, no, I don't care putting it on social media, letting people know what my times are, just because I'm always doing the work. So with that builds confidence. So I'm confident. It's just some days aren't your day, and it wasn't my day. So I will continue to post.
Do you think other people should do that as well and be more comfortable with kind of setting their goals, and or do you think it's better to just kind of be like,
if you're not confident in yourself, definitely I wouldn't share it, because once people say stuff and knock you down, you're just going to lose confidence. But for me, if people was like, oh, you're shit, you didn't get sub 60, I'm like, one, race me. Two, like, it's going to happen again. Like, it doesn't faze me that people will be judging. It just creates more of a story as well. The guy that always does what he says he's going to do is cool, but gets a bit boring after a while. Like the whole of the 2024 season, I kind of said a goal and got it. And now it's like the whole flip. In 2025, I've said things and not achieved anything quite yet. So it's all part of the story that I want, like I'm going to create. And this is a journey I'm currently on. I've just turned a chapter going into the new season now, like going to run a sub 3 at Sydney, sub 60 one time this year. We'll run a sub 55. Yeah. You know, if you don't set, like, they're like at arm's length away, but they're all very achievable. Like when I say these things, people's like, they're not going to be, oh no way is he getting that. People think like they think I can get it. It's just execution. And when I work as hard as I do, like I have no excuses going into the race. So if I don't get my time, it's not a case of lack of effort. It's just a case of lack of maybe having the wrong plan or just nutrition, just the day.
Just the day. Yeah, and progress like isn't linear. I feel like a lot of people forget that and just think, okay, what's next?
Yeah.
And sometimes I think you just need to like realize, sometimes it's just not your day.
Definitely. Yeah. You can't always win. And as you said earlier about me having to work really hard to get to where I've got to, my whole like period growing up, it was like mum, she really supported me. So I kind of had life given to me quite easily. It was always supportive, like good family and everything growing up till I got to probably like 18, 20. And then like it was obviously you have to grow up, become an adult. And then that's where I had to work hard for things. And obviously since I come to Australia, it's all on me now. I've got no other family here. So you have to, if I don't work hard, nothing's going to get done. Like I don't really, all my income now is just by the effort I put in every day.
Yeah.
Is your mom still a big part of your why? And
yeah, she's the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like my biggest inspiration, but like always look out for me. Like if I need help or support or backing, I can ask her and she'd like give me whatever I need. And she just knows that like I'm onto great things. So for her, she'd do whatever for me. Like if I needed her here tomorrow to help support like an event, she'd fly here. So it's nice having that like security, knowing that my mum's always there. But that's because like I'm an only child and we've got like a good relationship. But for me, my biggest why is just giving back to her. Obviously earning income's not the main thing, but I want to be able to fly her out here whenever I want. I want to be able to like retire her so she can live a like dream life with a dream car and just like chill out. So that's my why.
How was life like growing up as an only child?
Yeah, it was. I feel like the older you get, the more you realize the way you are now is because of your upbringing, which is a fascinating one. But I was the only child to my mum, but my dad was married before, so I've got 2 half brothers and a half sister. So I was the only child. I always lived at home by myself with my mum and dad, but like my sister and brothers were like always here and there. So they come into the house. They'd come over like every Wednesday. But yeah, it was. I don't really know any different, but I feel like because I love my own company now, I can just happily spend like a week by myself. I'm so happy in my own presence, and I think that's just because I was brought up in like a secure home, and like I was brought up by myself, so I'm quite happy just being alone.
Yeah, from the outside, it seems like you're a little bit introverted.
Yeah.
And like, do you find that works in your favor sometimes, or do you sometimes wish that it wasn't like that? Because I am like an extreme introvert as well.
Yeah.
And I find it really hard to balance everything, especially with like building a business and doing this podcast. Sometimes it's just like a lot.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, especially in the social media space, like how do you navigate that?
I feel like that's a great question. It's got me thinking. I have like on-off switches. I'm very good at switching on and I'm very good at switching off. When I'm off is when I'm an introvert and I recharge and I can just be by myself and I can go to the coffee shop, like just write things down, think about life. And that charges me up. But then when I'm like around my people and people that I want to spend time with, when I'm obviously hosting events, hosting like the Hyrox sessions, going to obviously all these events, meeting people who followed my journey, talking to them, like they will see me and be like, oh my God, he's like an outgoing, loud dude, like full of confidence. And I am, but that's not a fake side of me. That's who I am. But you can see me then, or you can see me just alone walking with my podcast in by the beach, just not needing anyone with me. So even like being in a relationship now, it's obviously I've got less of my own time. So that's another thing that you got to work with. Is obviously the time that you'd usually spend all the energy on yourself, you've got to give to someone else now. So there's a lot of like change going on at the minute, but I think the biggest thing is just being like on and off. And I know when to be on and off. As Calvin knows, like sometimes like I like when I'm off, like I'm done.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
and that's
and
like
I can relate
and that's
to that
needed.
as well.
And that's needed.
Yeah.
But I think
So,
it's
yeah.
interesting because just from like a more extroverted person point of view in our relationship, like sometimes at the beginning I was like, man, like like he would just turn off and I'm just like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
But then it just like once you like build that respect for each
Relationship,
other,
you get
then
it.
you realize, and it's funny because even Tash, like we've been together almost 5 years now,
Yeah.
and there'll be times where she comes home from like working at the restaurant, and she's tapped out, and I'm be like, we could just record a podcast right now.
It's like,
and it's just like, what are you talking about? Like, and then it just leads to maybe an argument or something like that. It's so preventable if you kind of just understand that some people are just a certain way and they need that
I think
time
that
to recharge.
that mindset just comes down to maturity and understanding. Not everyone's the same, and a lot of the time as humans we just act on like emotion, and the first thing that comes to our head, that's what we say without actually like thinking more about the situation. Like I read a book called The Monkey Paradox, and it's just stuck with me about obviously your brain works in two ways. Like you got the human brain and the chimp brain, and a lot of the time your chimp's like at the forefront telling you what to do, making decisions, but they're erratic and they're not gonna get you anywhere. Whereas you need to learn how to like just breathe, take a moment. What would the human brain process? How would it approach a situation? And then you act with that one. So it's kind of like putting your chimp brain to the side and then using that human brain to make your decisions. And that's when it comes down to obviously you and Tash. If something happens, you don't know how like Tash's day went at work. You don't know if she had rude customers, or you don't know if like she got fired, or like you literally don't know if she comes home from work and then you're there obviously acting like emotionally, but then you don't actually know the story. So it's like, yeah, the biggest example for me is when someone's driving and they cut you up, or you have road rage, and then your first thing is like put the horn on. Whereas obviously you should do if they're going to crash into you, but you don't know if they're in a rush or there's a baby in the car that needs to go to the hospital and they're like swerving in and out. So it just sticks with me. Whenever I make a decision, it's not like I always take a moment to be like to make it, not act straight away.
And I think so many people think, oh, everybody is going to see it the way I see it.
Yeah.
And it's the opposite.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's so powerful that like you just need to take a step back and really reflect on, okay, like slow down, don't let my emotions kind of make the decision, and take it for what it is. And
that's literally it. Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, what is your day in the life?
Day in the life.
So like you talk about your why.
Yeah.
And are there days where you aren't even thinking about your why?
Yeah.
And you notice a big difference versus the days that you are?
Yeah. Probably 2 weeks after Worlds, my why was just like out of the window. I was just probably the 2 weeks after Worlds is probably like the most challenging 2 weeks of like life, I reckon. Just because you have 11 months of build up to a thing that you don't do. You go on a trip where like brands is meant to like cover it and you have to pay for the whole trip yourself. And then you go through a transition phase of, so now I've got a manager doing all my socials. So I lost all my social media contracts because they're all getting renewed. So this whole like 2 weeks after World, you're on a big come down anyway. I'm traveling, so I'm trying to live my best life. And then you have all of this stuff happen, and it's just like so much to manage. So I feel so good now being back, but kind of after Worlds, I was just so ready just to come home and like lock in on everything. But because I was out for so long, it was hard to manage that for sure.
How did you navigate that like mentally? Was it hard? Like, how was your mental health during that whole?
Yeah, I didn't really have time to think about mental health, to be honest. I would have loved to. So after Worlds, I'd have loved just to have gone to like Crumbin Harvest in nature somewhere, having a coffee and just processing life to be like, okay, what's next? But you go from Worlds, you don't get your time, you then back it up, do another race, it goes well, but you like your body's just exhausted. And then you're watching everyone, and then you go to New York, which is like the most stimulating place in the world. And then you're planning your trip there, and then you go to Austin to network. I didn't really think about it, but like even the last few days I've been back, I was like, fuck, that was hard. And yeah, I didn't really enjoy those. Like I enjoyed the trip, it was insane, but it was just a huge come down, and like, you just have to climb back up again.
Crazy.
But what was the question? What did you say?
Well, I kind of...
the day in the life.
Day in the life, yeah.
Yeah, so obviously now I'm back into a routine. I'm so much happier. Like I'm the simplest of guys. I like just my normal life, not in America. But that's what I was saying. Like going through a transition phase at the minute, and I've obviously my usual day in the life. I would have been coaching a lot more at a tour and having hours there. But since being back, I'm kind of not really coaching there much more at the moment, just because my focus is purely on my fitness and my business. So a day in the life, like usual Monday, probably at the minute wake up at 5 a.m. 5 a.m. wake up, and it is read. Well, we have a book club at the minute 'cause I've just moved house. So me, Benji, and Crystal, we have a book club at 5 a.m. So 5 until 5:30, we're all sat there reading. I'm on the beanbag, they're on the couches. So yeah, 5 till 5:30 is book club, and then I will hydrate. So hydrate in the morning, have all my supplements and stuff, and then usually I'd go on a run or do some sort of exercise. That'd be my usual routine, but I've kind of been slowing down a little bit at the minute and just enjoying my mornings. So I'll get into a work block, get 2 hours of work done, go to the gym at 8. From 8, I will then obviously come back, have my food, have my oats, another work block, either maybe go to a coffee shop, do some work, and then have lunch, and then I'll train again in the afternoon, probably like 1, 2 o'clock, another work block, and then come home. Usually in the evenings, I'll edit my content and chill, or try to chill, sauna, and then rinse and repeat. But it's hard. It is actually quite hard going from obviously having set routines around coaching where you have to be somewhere to then working fully for yourself online where the calendar can change because you're editing the calendar. It is actually quite hard, like locking in routine. And then coming back from a big trip, there's just a lot of friction at the minute. So.
And not only that, just the discipline to stick to what you're doing when you have that much freedom is people overlook it. So it's insane. Just with the way these social media apps are designed is to capture your attention. Yeah. And it's just, man, even when you're trying to like edit content on them, it's so easy to get just like sidetracked. You're like, oh, I need to look at this. And the next thing you know, you wasted another 20 minutes. Yeah. It's challenging.
It's hard. There's a lot of distractions out there for you to be distracted from, but I don't really, you know me especially, I don't know anything that's going on in life really. Like I know my life, I know what I need to do, but outside of that, I'm not looking what anyone else is doing. I'm not scrolling. I don't use TikTok. There's not too many distractions in terms of me looking at other people to be jealous, or like I've not got time for that. We was laughing the other night while we was having like a Drino, so our night hot chocolate. Someone commented on a comment on TikTok. I'm like, how have you got time for that? How have you got time to look on someone's TikTok to like look at the comments and then comment on their comment? I'm like, that doesn't even, I wouldn't even have time to do that. Yeah. But yeah, I'm not a consumer. I try and produce instead of consume.
Create over consume. I've always like tried to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the biggest shift that I made a year ago when I was so worried about what other people thought of me. Yeah. Was like Tash was just like, no, like just put more effort into like trying to be who you are. Yeah. And then when you are who you are, and people appreciate that, that's where you actually are happy. That's where you find happiness, is when people appreciate you for who you are.
I think that when I first started and I lacked in confidence, I tried to seek approval by not being the person that I truly was. So I think now, because I know who I am, I know what I need to do, that just attracts the right people.
And I think right off the back of that, one of the things that just watching you is, you mentioned like how you weren't rushing anything in terms of brands when you were going to America for this trip. And one of the things I respect so much of you is you don't just work with any brand. Yeah. And you don't just slap your name on a quick buck. No. And I think it's like a lot of people
in the space
will do that. Yeah. And so can you talk about just like how you see that and how you connect?
Yeah, I just look at it in a way that I've spent 4 or 5 years building this brand to what it is now, and to being the person that I am. Like, if you want me to work for you, that's like, for me to be on your brand, I think, I'm not being big-headed, but I think that's like a big value to have. And I just don't want my face representing something that I wouldn't use, or I don't trust, or it's got the wrong people working for them. Like, I could have had the whole world trip paid for by two brands that would have backed me, and it covered everything. I'd have been in a way better position now. But long term, I would have been stuck into a contract. I wouldn't have wanted to wear their clothes. I wouldn't have drank their drink, and it just would have been fake. And nothing on my social media is fake. It's all real and just me. And I don't want to be that guy that just comes across as fake and not real. So like, even I had a big social media brand reach out to get huge commission from kickback sales, and like I would have got a huge payout from them, but I haven't used that to grow my socials, so I'm not going to promote something that I haven't used, and I will continue to spend time building the right like framework and connections to work with brands that align with me, rather than just working with brands for a paycheck. Like for me, I want to be in a position where I've built a brand myself, and that's going to be my income, and I want to work with brands to support them, and we can support each other, not in a financial point of view, but just as a like partnership, and we can help build each other up. So yeah, I'm not working with many brands at the minute. Like I said, I'm going through like a transition phase, but that was a huge decision to not work with those brands when I left, because yeah, America was like it wasn't cheap, but
how humble of a person you are.
Yeah, and I know that it'll pay off, and I don't look at life as a quick win. I think now like 3 years ahead, and what decision am I going to make today that's going to help me in 3 years time. So yeah, like it was a big risk, but because I believe like it's going to pay off. Like we released the programs yesterday, they're going well, and it's just, and we like believe in them so much. Cameron's put all the work in behind the scenes doing that, so it's just pushing that now and building our own brand rather than having to rely on others. But when brands collab together like this, obviously Free Speed, MOOREFIT, it just everyone can help each other out.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's the exact reason why I wanted to work with Ollie. Like, if you guys heard exactly what he just said, that's the type of character, that's the type of person that you want in your life, is people that are so true to their values that, like, man, you inspire me by how confident and secure you are in the decisions you make. Yeah. And it makes me want to do better and be more focused.
Yeah. And I feel like they could have been the wrong decision. Like, the other things might not work out, but from the start, if you back it and you don't even look back, then you can just look forward even more. If you keep constantly turning your head, you're just wasting time. Just keep looking forward and back the decision. And then, yeah, it'll all plan out. Like, if you truly believe something, you would do everything to get there, whether it takes a month or 4 years. Just trust it.
Was there ever a time where you felt extremely burnt out from what you were doing?
Probably after Worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon even like your family know when you're like burnt out or tired. They can just tell. And like after Worlds, and I was on FaceTime to Mum, she was like, "You need to chill a little bit." And when I've still not reflected properly, and I'm a big one in just like sitting down and just spending like hour, 2 hours just reflecting on life. When I do that and I think about it more, I think the last 11 months have probably been the most on like I've ever been. And the progress has been good, but like you wouldn't look at it and think, fuck, he's made insane progress. It's been 11 months of work for like community, showing up like every Sunday, hosting the events, hosting like workouts for people in the week, doing online programming, making content daily, obviously training twice a day, building towards all the races coming up, like giving time for your friends. It's just been a huge 11 months. And I think after Worlds, when you like, obviously things didn't go to plan and it was a huge come down, and that was probably the biggest. Yeah, that was probably, I wasn't depressed, but I was definitely ready to slow down and just breathe.
It's just a lot.
Yeah, for sure. But no, I never wanted to give up, but that was the biggest, probably the hardest time I've had, I reckon.
And how about like earlier on in your journey, was there ever a point where you were like ever skeptical of what you were doing? Or
I don't think there was, because I never really knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
Now I kind of have an idea of what I want. I'm still figuring so much out, but have more of an idea of what I want out of life. Whereas back then I didn't really know, so it wasn't that deep. I was just posting for no real reason. I didn't really know what it was going to lead to. Yeah. I just knew it would lead to something. And yeah, it was. Sorry, I lost what I was going to say then.
No, it's all good.
What'd you say?
Basically, what you're saying is just stay consistent and it'll
essentially, just consistency pays off after time, and I'm grateful for where I am today because I've not given up. But yeah, like I'm trying to think when I could have given up. Like I wasn't happy when I was working in aviation, like building planes. 4 years.
4 years.
I was there for 4 years.
When did you start that? What age?
I'd have been like 18,
Oh,
19.
wow, young.
So for a year, so from like 17 to 18, I used to work for my brother as an electrician. So I used to like apprentice electrician, hated that. And then luckily I knew someone who worked at this aviation place, and got me a job there. But when I started, I was like, I'm not going to be here for more than 5 years. And I left after 4, and I left, and I was so chuffed that I left. But when you leave a big job, you think it's going to be a big deal, but it actually wasn't. I was doing a bit of online coaching then, so had a bit of security, but nothing crazy.
And were you willing to kind of make that sacrifice and really just not have a lot of success, even though it was that shift? Like, you were willing to just follow your passion?
Yeah.
Was that easy? Or do you think if maybe the success or the ability to have a little bit of that freedom that you've gotten, would you have given up or gone back?
I don't think I left the job for success. I think, like you said, I left the job for freedom. And with having freedom, gave me opportunity. And then with my opportunities, given me success, because I've been around the right people and found myself. So I think freedom was the main driving force to get out of that job. But when I left, I was like, I'll be back in 6 months. I thought I might go back to it because I didn't know how well this journey was going to plan out. Because like I said at the start of the podcast, when I moved to Australia, I didn't plan on moving. I just come here because of a fitness event, and then met the people that I met, and met my best friend Harry, and there was a gym opening, so I opened up a gym with my friend, and then before you know it, like the gym's pumping, the busiest gym in the Gold Coast, and then like started doing Hyrox a bit more seriously, built a community, and it's just like everything's just led to another thing, and this whole journey has just been insane. But that's only been like a year. Imagine like 2 more years, and it's just gonna snowball's just gonna keep going, and that's why I don't want to stop, and that's why I don't want to drink, because I'm like fired up inside. Like yesterday, I was like inside for 10 hours just dogging out work, and I'm just like in a flow right now again, ready to go again.
I think I tell Tash this, like, what are we celebrating? Like,
Yeah.
What are we celebrating? Like, I'll celebrate when I've like achieved what I want to achieve.
Yeah.
And we have so much time to celebrate.
Oh my God.
And
yeah.
I
think you should celebrate every day when you wake up.
Yeah.
That should be a celebration. Like, you know,
Just
like
alive another day.
Yeah, another day in the Gold Coast. Some
Yeah.
people don't get to wake up. Some people are not living the lives that they want to live. And like, we're in the Gold Coast. We left our hometown. We're traveling the world. We're making experience. We're like having experiences. We're making new friends. We're pursuing our dreams. It's like, yeah, we might not be doing it quite right, but we're giving it a good shot. And that's the biggest thing, is not overthinking it. Benji said a quote to me yesterday when I left the house, is being done is better than being perfect. And like, we're just doing the thing. It's not perfect. It's not going to be, it never will be, but just do the thing, and who knows what it could lead to. Like, you guys are hosting this podcast in a 6 studio. I'm sat here just trying to be good at fitness and building a fitness brand. Like, it's not that deep, but it's fucking cool. You know?
When I first got here, one of the guys that I worked with from the UK said to me that, like, you might have 20 people in a fitness class, you might have a bunch of followers, and out of, say, 20 people, there's going to be 5 people that love your style. There's going to be 5 people that it's whatever. There's going to be 5 people that are like, this, we don't vibe.
Yeah.
And there's going to be another 5 that just outright don't like you.
Yeah.
And I think it's so easy to get fixated on, like, for anyone listening, the 5 people that don't like you.
Yeah.
When that's just life. And I think that's the biggest difference I see in people who are very comfortable with being who they are. And I know you have probably heard little, like, whispers of your name being tarnished or things that have been said bad about you. And I'm just wondering, what do you have to say about, like, that whole kind of concept of just, you can't please everybody?
Yeah, it's actually, it's crazy. Like, no one's really ever said a bad word about me, just because I've always played by the book. Like, I've always been a good dude, just doing good things. Like, at school, I was never bad, never really, like, I was just a goody two shoes, and I've always kind of had that throughout my life. Just always done things right. And then obviously being in the Gold Coast, being exposed to 5,000 people in a little village is pretty small. Like, everyone knows you. So it's not really a bad thing to say about you. Whereas you move to the Gold Coast, you take more risks. You're around new people. People talk more. You like. There's a lot more that can be spoken about you. And obviously the things. It's not like super bad things, but like people love gossip here. And when things get round and they say things about you, it's just like, for me, it's just more annoying and like dumb. I'm like, why would you spread things when you're just wasting your energy? Most of the stuff is like lies and not true. So for me, like, I always know the truth. Like, I'm a pretty truthful guy. And when it's not true, I'm just like, why? Like, yeah. And it doesn't affect me because I know the answers. I know what goes on, but like Chinese whispers and girls especially love gossip and love chats.
One of my favorite quotes I tell Tash all the time is what Ollie says about Calvin says more about Ollie than it says about Calvin.
Yeah,
and
that's so true.
And I think people don't realize that, like, people in your life, that the person that's saying something about someone is usually more indicative of what that, like, who that person is as a shit disturber, trying to stir up little things.
And I've got bigger things to worry about than a little bit of gossip about me that's not true. Like, that is the least of my worries. I've got the biggest Hyrox community in the world to build. I've got to become the best athlete possible. That's top of my priority list. I got friends that I need to serve, family that I need to call. Like, a little bit of gossip about me it's annoying, but I'm like, it's not going to waste any of my energy worrying about it.
Yeah. You've seen it before.
Yeah. No. No.
Yeah.
Do you see Australia as your forever home now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Obviously, it's not as easy as staying here.
Yeah.
Just because of visa situations in life. Like, it would be a lot easier if I was a citizen here, because I'm trying to build, obviously, a Australian business in the UK. Like, most of my clients now are Australian. But my business is still run from the UK, so that I obviously have to transition over eventually. Yep. My social media stuff's all ran through Australia now, so it is a bit of admin. But I want to stay here full time for sure. Yeah. This is my home now. I've got my friends here. I've built an awesome community, and
your mom soon.
I fly my mum out whenever she wants.
Really?
That'd be the goal.
Soon.
By the end of the year, I'll fly her out here. So.
That'll be so fun.
Yeah, this is home now. I just couldn't see myself living back at home around people, like around my best friends and stuff still, and they always will be. Just different outlooks on life and different visions, different goals, and I want to be constantly meeting new people that I learn from and level me up, and I'm always like the dumbest in the room and like the less fittest, just because I can grow then. And being in the Gold Coast, being in like Sydney it's a cool, obviously Australia's like a good place to live, but those cities are pretty cool and there's a lot of successful people in them. And I went to America. Obviously Chris is living in America now. It's obviously the place to grow, but not for me. I could not live there. No,
what exactly was that like kind of told you it was very different than Australia for anyone who's listening?
Just the lifestyle out there is completely different. People, obviously for me, I just like this little simple life. Like, it's clean in the Gold Coast, it's fresh air, not much homeless, you feel safe. I just didn't feel that safe in America. The people there, don't know, just a different vibe. People are a lot more direct there. And I just didn't like the vibe. When you go into a room, you can get the vibe straight away. And when I went to America and was walking around and stuff, I wasn't like, oh my God, I want to live here. And for me to move to the other side of the world, I wanted to be like, oh my God, this place is cool. I want to live here. Like, this was perfect. There was no way I would never move to America from the UK, put it that way.
It's funny because without getting voodoo or anything, like, the energy is more important than people realize. And that's like your gut. When your gut is telling you like this is what's right, then that's more important than anything. Yeah. And it's
Do you like it here?
Yeah, I like it here, but I think Tash and I have gone through different visions and how the Gold Coast is different than, because I've lived in like six different places for over a year. Like, I lived in Canada. I grew up. I lived in Switzerland for a year. I lived in California. I lived in eastern rural Maine in the sticks, kind of like where you grew up. Yeah. And I think that's like, while you're young, being able to have the opportunity to do that, I think anyone should go in.
You need to do
you
that.
have to, yeah.
Like for me, moving from the UK to travel for like a whole year essentially was, you learn so much and you get to feel for what you like.
Exactly.
So is America always home for you?
I would say, I think the safety thing in America is definitely a real thing.
Yeah.
And just, yeah, like there's certain things that make me a little concerned about America. But I think, similar to you, I could never live where I grew up. And I've told Tash this. It's just, there's too many vices. There's too many things that tie me to my old bad habits that I've grown out of.
Yeah.
But I would love the life to have the freedom to spend a couple months, 2-3 months in Australia every year.
Yeah.
That would be a dream.
Cool.
And the reason I would tell you I'm not ready to just completely move full time would just because, like you, my parents are so important to me.
Yeah.
And I have some really good friends back home that are so important to me.
Yeah.
And I think, like, if you could just move a dome of your life, of the best people that you could live in a village with them, that's cool. The dream. But you I'm sure you've met people all over the world where you're like, man, that's just a really good person. Yeah. But it's too bad that you're not always in the same
definitely
same space.
Yeah, I'd love for my parents and my family to be here, but it's never gonna happen. And this is something that I just live with now. And if I need them, it's a 24-hour flight home. It's not the end of the world. Yeah. And it just makes, when I see them, just makes it way more enjoyable. I've not seen my family, or I saw my mum last October, but I've not seen my family in over a year now. So I'm excited to see them in August.
That's a very good point, because I used to live at home with my family, with my younger sister and my mom and all the pets. And obviously I love them. But because now we've made this big move, it just makes you appreciate them so much more.
Yeah, definitely.
Because when they're always around all the time, it's just like, oh, man, too much. But like now it's just like, I can't wait to actually go back home
and most people have seen, and I don't like going this dark, but like most people have seen, like, if your parents are a certain age and you only see them once or twice a year, like you can count the amount of times. There's only a handful of
times you're gonna see
them. So it's just important to like keep those relationships at the top priority, because time that's the most valuable thing anyone has. Yeah. And
time. So use it wisely, and that's why you don't want to waste it by, for me, drinking and hanging around the wrong people. Yeah.
But off that, I wanna talk to you before we wrap up about like just like what you're excited about, like moving forward, the new programs and like how you see MOOREFIT kind of evolving and what's next for you, and in terms of like off the back of this really tough time that you've gone through with Worlds, and like just being excited for the next chapter.
Yeah, like obviously it was a tough time, like 2 weeks of that challenge, but it's all like the only way's up now, and I'm so excited just to get stuck into it. So we've got a few things coming. Obviously on Monday this week is obviously all the new group programs are releasing, which we've been working on. So that's super exciting. This is just going to be the start. Obviously we're not going to have like hundreds of people from the start, but that's just like a base of something we can just keep building on and building on and building on. Like the programs you've created and you've worked off from like other programs is going to be like insane. The knowledge you have is like no other coach I've seen, and it's just incredible. So I'm excited to see them obviously be put to use by clients that back what we do, and the progress everyone's going to make is just going to be insane. So seeing everyone's progress, sticking to the program, following along in the community, going to Perth, going to Melbourne, I'm just excited to be on that journey with everyone and just adapting as we go. Like the first 8-week block is going to be like so good, but we'll learn from that. We will get better as coaches, and we can also adapt the program, keep it real, and help people along on that journey. And then from there, by Melbourne, we'll have obviously all merch and stuff for all the athletes, all the community, which will be getting made shortly, hopefully. And then obviously my journey as well by becoming like a better athlete. Sydney Marathon coming up. So we've got 7 and a bit weeks until that, which is exciting. Another race, another competition to document and train for and hold myself accountable for. Then it'll be Perth Hyrox and then Melbourne Hyrox.
Did you see the Brisbane? Did you
Yeah,
see
and
that
then
one?
Brisbane next
Yeah.
year. So
April.
there's a lot of things going on. Obviously, in Australia, all these Hyrox events are kind of activations for us. But as we grow, the brand grows, we can activate them more, pump more money into them, take athletes to these events, have a team. I see the Hyrox space becoming kind of like cycling, where you have like teams that represent Hyrox races. So you have Red Bull at F1, or you have McLaren at F1. You have, I want it to be like MOOREFIT at like Perth Hyrox, MOOREFIT at New York Hyrox, and you have like a team of like 6 athletes that represent, and that's like a long-term goal, but something that's definitely like achievable. And obviously we'll be the coaches that help them get there, get them in the best shape for that. And then
They need you to be in HQ, Hyrox HQ, so we can make that happen.
what do you mean?
Like we need to propose them to
yeah,
to start like a
that would be
us,
cool, like a
yeah.
team sport.
Yeah.
And then it goes off like averages or something. But there's just so much opportunity. The sport's so new,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
everyone's
Hybrid fitness is just
It's just
the beginning. It's just the beginning. Yeah.
exactly. And even though it is, say, Hyrox programs, it's hybrid training.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're lifting and we're running, and we're just doing it in a way that's going to make you insane progress and just winging it by yourself. But there's a lot of cool things in the pipeline. That's just some of it. And yeah, I'm just excited to just get stuck back into work and routine and just grow again as a person, grow again as a friend, and just become and build the biggest Hyrox brand in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But for now, we need to take over Australia.
Yeah, one thing at a time.
One thing at a time.
That's
But
awesome.
it's exciting.
Well, Ollie, it's time for free speed.
Mm-hmm.
We have a little thing at the end of every episode. We kind of just like say one little thing, one free speed for the episode, which is like, if you don't know what it is, it's like the extra you get without the extra effort, if that makes sense. So
Okay.
if you have one piece of advice to give the listeners or anyone watching,
Maybe like a 1% tip
Yeah.
thing that you do that maybe people don't really think of. Does that make sense? In
Yeah,
terms of
that
like,
makes sense.
what is something that maybe most people wouldn't really know of that you think is like a 1%er? And that's what really the free speed that like people can take away from today's.
Benji's gonna not agree with me because we had this conversation this morning, but I'm a big one in how you do anything is how you do everything. So for me, the way I wake up in the morning, the way I put the gym plates away at the gym, the way I put the barbells away, the way I do everything in my life is with detail and precision and thought, and by doing that, it just makes everything else in life a lot more streamlined and easier. So I'm very particular in what I do. So that's why I live by the quote, how I do anything is how I do everything. And that's why everything I do is not just random, I think, and everything's done with that purpose.
yeah, built on intent. That's kind of our tagline here at Free Speed as well. So.
Yeah, that makes complete sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, everything I do is with intention. I don't just do things for the sake of it. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
I love that.
Well, Ollie Moore, thanks for coming on episode 28 of the Free Speed Podcast. We appreciate you coming here, talking about your life. You're just a great person, kind person. For those of you listening, I hope you guys could, from the hour here, really kind of take that away in who Ollie is. And
One of the most down-to-earth people I've ever met.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, guys.
Mhm.
And even like the biggest takeaway from Sydney Hyrox, just while we wrap this up, there was a woman come over to me as I was leaving the warm-up area and gave me a big cuddle and was like, "Oh my God, you're the reason I'm here today." And she's like, "Oh my God, my son follows you," brought her son over, brought her daughter over, also follows me. And I'm like, "Where do you train?" She's like, "Oh, we just train in our garage, but we love your workouts and you're inspiring towards us." And then off the back of that, she sent me a message on Instagram and was like, "Oh my God, you're the most inspiring, down to earth person I've ever met." And like that message, just being like down to earth and kind, is just, yeah, I was like, wow. And I want to keep that trait throughout my whole journey. Like I'm never going to have an ego or be big headed, no matter how big this gets. So yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
good.
awesome. Anything last you want to talk about? We'll put your Instagram in the caption if you guys want to give him a follow and follow his journey. Like we said from the beginning, 1,200 posts. He's consistent, and yeah, he gives everybody just a cool little look into his journey. So
No, I just want to say thank you for having me on the podcast, my third ever one. was good fun. Spoke about some cool things, and obviously you're excited for my journey and our journey together, and I'm excited for your journey. Hopefully you have a lot more opportunities, and yeah, this is just a start for you guys. And just don't back down, keep showing up. You're gonna get knocked down. It's taken me 4 years, hopefully it takes you 2 years, but just keep going and believe in yourself. That's good.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Ollie.
Let's go.